Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of Nate's Chats, the first official Nate's Chats, and here we're going to have the second half of my interview with Jake. I hope you enjoy. All right, so what would you say are some of the strengths of being an introvert?
I mean, I don't know because I don't know that I've ever had that kind of conversation with a lot of introverts.
Sure.
So I guess I can just say my strengths
Yeah.
that I draw from it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is being able to be pretty self actualized in a lot of ways because we're very introspective people
Mm-hmm.
as introverts.
Yep.
We tend to overthink and think a lot and not necessarily obsess about things, but definitely just mull things over, constantly in our heads.
Yep.
And as a result, I think that there's a little bit of wisdom that comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to see things in multiple perspectives
Yep.
comes from that. Also, being an introvert is one of the things that I attribute to kind of a slow, not a slow response, but I guess if you're thinking in those terms, yes, it would be kind of a slow response, slow to anger kind of a
Sure.
situation.
Sure. Absolutely.
Um, and that's proven really beneficial to me to not be able to overreact and to be able to, kind of you internalize it first and you
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, this is my thinking in this moment. This is what I want to do, but this is not what I'm going to do, and then
Right.
instead, this is what I'm going to do. And then by the time we act, it's like it's been thought out.
Right.
So I'd say those are some of the biggest strengths that I found.
Okay. So how about the flip side? What are some challenges that you find in your life that you would say stem from that introvertedness?
Close relationships is one of the biggest ones. That's been such a challenge to find somebody that I can open up to
Yep.
because there's so many criteria for an introvert. You know what I mean? There is no I'm bearing my soul. It's like, well, you have to meet this criteria and this one and this one and this one, and if you do all of those, I might let half of
Right.
the secrets out, right? And
Right.
so that's just kind of where we fall in that. And so as a result, having those super close relationships has
Right.
been very, very challenging. And like I said, it takes a lot of work.
Yep.
With my wife and I, we work on it all the time.
Yep.
And having other people in your life, it's more emotional equity that you have to give out. And
Yep.
so that's I think the biggest challenge
Sure.
of all for me is finding those close relationships and holding on to them.
It's funny because as I was thinking about strengths and weaknesses from an extrovert's perspective, having close friendships is actually a weakness of the extrovert too. We just have a lot more acquaintances, right? Because we're quicker to make friends and quicker to talk and interact. Um, but that deep meaningfulness does take some of that deep thinking that you're talking about and that working through things. And sometimes we overshare, but that tends to that doesn't tend to keep itself for deep, meaningful friendships. So instead, what's left to give kind of is something that I run into. Um, the one thing I was going to say though, because I noticed when you were talking about your kids, one of the things you said was you don't want to tell them that you need a break because of the way that might come across. So the irony is one of my strengths as an extrovert is that I want my opinion to be known. So I'm very quick to go, kids, this is about to be a problem and daddy needs a break. We'll talk about this in a little bit and go off because I need to not go off on my children. I need to go to a place by myself. So I thought that was really funny because that's very different in the way that we come at that specifically. Oh, that's great. So we kind of talked a little bit about some of the things that I had. I think the last thing I kind of want to hit is so there are genuine stereotypes for both introvert and extrovert that aren't right. And so I'm curious. I'm just going to read off maybe 3 or 4, and I'd like your thoughts as far as how do you view that? is that frustrating how that comes across? How would you respond to that? That kind of thing. So um, we have things like introverts are all shy. Introverts don't like to have fun. Introverts want to be alone all the time. Introverts have very low self-esteem and kind of hate people. What are your thoughts? I know that's a lot, but just what are your thoughts?
I've heard them all. I mean, it's all very familiar to me.
Yeah.
No, I think that they're stereotypes because they're perceptions. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
And it doesn't make them correct. It just means that that's
Yep.
how people are perceiving us.
Yep.
Obviously, like any stereotype, it's biased and towards one person's experience.
Yep.
And so, with that being said, there is an element of all of those things that are yes true in that we exhibit those things, right?
Right. Right.
Am I shy? Yes, to other people I am shy because I come across as shy.
Right.
Do I hate people? Probably because somebody has perceived that, and so that's who I am now.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that obviously none of those things are actually accurate about who
Right.
we are.
Right.
In fact, very often it's the opposite of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I care very, very deeply for people. But at the same time, there are many, many times I don't want a person in my house. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, I don't want anyone over. I don't want to be by myself. Does that mean I don't care for those people? No, it just
Yep.
means I don't have the emotional capacity at that moment to handle
Right.
that.
Yep.
And so it can come across in those ways. And
Mm-hmm.
for that, on behalf of all introverts, I apologize. But I don't know. Maybe there's an introvert out there that's like, no, I like being standoffish.
Maybe.
That might be happening. Um,
Yeah.
but they're all real perceptions that we all have to fight.
Yep.
I'm sure you have some for
Oh,
extroverts too.
have mercy. Well, what I was actually going to say is, on behalf of extroverts everywhere, I apologize for all these stereotypes because these are coming from us. Because we're the ones looking at you guys going, man, you must hate people, even though it's clearly not true. It's funny because a lot of those stereotypes, they come down to motivation, right? Like the
Yeah.
same action, but now I'm assuming what your motivations are instead of giving you the benefit of the doubt, finding out what's actually going on. I'm just going, oh, well, he must hate people. He must be shy because he doesn't want to, start any conversation. I start all of them and then I interrupt most of them before he can finish them. So he must be shy. Um, so no, it's true, and there's definitely a lot of misconceptions about extroverts too. So, well, Jake, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
I've loved having you for this inaugural episode of Nate's Chats. This has been fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to add as from the perspective of ReImagine Media? Any plug you'd like to give before we send you off for the day?
Absolutely. So we are in the process of filming and developing 8 narrative short films for our anthology series called Emotions. Each film is based on an emotion and is going to be told without the use of words. So no dialogue, no anything like that. It'll all be through expression and emotion. So it's very experimental, very fun. We're very excited about it. If that's interesting to you, please follow us on Facebook. We're just at ReImagine Media on Facebook. We'd love to have you as followers and viewers of our work. So we're really excited about what's about to come and hope you'll join us for the ride.
Awesome, dude. As you've described this anthology to me, I am so pumped and excited to see this come to fruition. I'm really excited to see what you guys put together.
Sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Jake. Have a great evening.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, guys. That was the completion of the first full Nate's Chats. Part 1 last week, Part 2 today. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave comments. Please feel free, if you enjoyed the episode and that interview with Jake, to subscribe. Please click the bell notification so that you can know when new videos are uploaded. Please feel free to follow the link in the description below to Jake's Facebook page for ReImagine Media so that you can follow that anthology that they're working on as well. And I will catch you guys next time on All Things Nate.